Okay. Found a little piece of concrete underneath some shady trees. I've got some of my sweaty clothes hanging up to dry out a little bit. And I'm inspecting my feet, and they look pretty good mostly. A little bit of wear and tear, a little dirty, but oh boy, look at that. See, I gotta repair that. That's a whole lot of miles and not a lot of chances to wash them in water and soften that up and make it go away. I gotta be careful or I'll fuck it up. Yeah, I got a little of that going on the other foot, but this foot's worse. But I can cure that. This is a little persistent toenail fungus. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a little round spot that is hollow underneath there quite a ways. It's a little sensitive, but not much. Not as much as it should be for how deep I'm shoving that thing. But it grows under there, and then it just separates the toenail from the bed, which is really not good. I don't have anything to sanitize or wash with. I don't have any water. There's not a lot of water sources out here along the way, so I'm going to be really careful. I've got toenail clippers. They're not, or actually fingernail clippers, and they're not very good for what I'm doing here. But we're going to do a little minor, easy surgery and keep this from being a problem. What I'm doing, I've learned to do, is cut away the affected material as much as I can, and it helps to slow down the spread. And I normally take my socks off and let my feet dry out. As you can see, there's kind of a little icky material underneath there. It's not looking real pretty. Sorry to have to show you that, but this is part of being a nomad in America, is having to keep yourself in good shape. And it's tough. It really is. It's really tough. It's really important. I've seen guys have really bad problems with their feet and have to get medical attention and stuff. And medical attention is debt. It's expensive. And the hospitals and the clinics, they're not really friendly to people who don't have insurance and jobs and all these things. They're not real forgiving, and they're not real understanding. They make it out to be sometimes, but in general, if you can take good care of yourself, you're going to be better off than depending on being able to neglect yourself, get sick, get hurt, and go into an emergency room and expect, top world care. It's just not going to happen very much. So what I'm doing is I've cut this at an angle in here, and I'm going to increase it a little bit because I don't want an ingrown toenail. And there's a trick you can do where you get in and you cut it at a steep angle, and it will push itself out, its own flesh out of the way as it grows back in. And that'll help you keep from getting an infection. Because if you cut it at a square angle, what's going to happen is it's going to become sore and inflamed from the pressure of having to push through that like a flat-tipped shovel instead of see, here's a good example on this side. That's the way you want to cut it. So it pushes itself through, and I'm going to cut a little of that tip off. You don't want it to catch on stuff. It looks a little gnarly, but that's a lot better than it was. I'm going to trim these a little bit to keep material from building up underneath there and making an environment for that fungus to grow, so it prevents it from spreading. I know it's probably on the fingernail clippers anyway, but if I get a chance, I'll put some stuff on there to clean that up. My pinky toes tend to have a little bit of a different kind of issue going on, where they're thick. They get kind of, you know, a fungus thing going on, and they thicken. A lot of people do that. It's good to grind them down, trim them back, and occasionally soak them in something that prevents that fungus. I've had some luck before, but I forgot what I used. Clean out in between the toes, even if it's just mechanical, rubbing the stuff out of the way, dead skin and dirt and whatnot. And this is hiker's medicine. This is just taking good care of your feet as best you can in adverse situations. Now, I don't have a razor or anything, which I might use sometimes, on this stuff on the bottom, but I want to try and see if I can't trim some of that out of the way or scrape it off. But I don't want it to split the skin. It's already kind of wanting to do that. Taking my fingernail and trying. It's still soft from having my socks on, but you don't want to do that when it's dry. It gets kind of unforgiving. It'll peel and bleed, and that risks an infection, which is, I've known some people that got real bad foot infections, and I've heard of guys getting gangrene and stuff and losing their whole foot. And that's because they walk around without taking care of it, which honestly I've been doing for a short while, but I make it a habit of checking this stuff and putting the kibosh on it when I find that it's doing this kind of thing. See, that split right there is really bad, because if I peel on that, it's likely to cut and bleed. So I want to cut it off so it's not going to catch on the socks. Hopefully I can get that off of there. And if I get a chance, I'll soak it in some water, wash it really good, and keep it washed. I'm just past Arlington, a little bit, somewhere close to halfway between Dallas and Fort Worth. Okay, I'm at 8 minutes. Let's see if I can find that knife. It's buried in here someplace. It's not in there. Try not to tear up my backpack. Oh, here we go. Okay. We're going to see about trying to get some of this to come off without splitting. My knife is about as dull as it can get, so I'm not having a whole lot of luck. Yeah, it's pretty dull. A little bit. It's coming off a little bit. What it is dead skin that is in there, and I don't wash it enough. And it cakes and splits loose. And I've walked quite a ways, a couple of days. Not to mention being on Greyhound from all the way to out in Twin Falls. Okay, that looks really gnarly, but it's actually a little bit better than it was. I gotta be super careful. Okay, now let's see about doing some trimming on this. Ugh, really gross. I gotta clean all my gear. I'm gonna sterilize and sanitize this stuff if I get a chance. Okay, we're at 10 minutes. And I'm maxing out at 15 on YouTube, so this is a segment on foot care. And urban hiking. Oh, that pinky toe looks bad. I've never seen it that bad. I really got to start taking better care of my toes. Oh, that's gross. Sorry for making you guys watch this grody episode. Maybe I'll put a warning on it. Maybe I won't. Hoo-hoo. Okay. I don't have any soap. I don't have any water. I don't have anything to sterilize anything with. Except a little flame, which I'm right next to the gas plant, so I don't want to do that either. Okay. That's that. 12:37.